Welcome back to the channel, people. KG is back. Match reaction time. Oh boy. Arsenal 4, Leeds United 1. Not the kind of result that you want going into the next two games. Hopefully it's one that the players can just park and move on from. But that's usually easier said than done. And we have to go into it in terms of individual errors today. So poor. So poor. Listen, just before we get into it, of course, please hit the likes on the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Shout out to everyone that's joining me live now. And if you're watching the replay, hit the like and leave your comments also. AFV is saying today was a big ask, even without agent Ayling. Yeah. Leeds saying Ayling can't defend, so poor. Yeah, these are all things that I keep saying, but fans love him. Fans love him. Fans love him, man. Darren saying our goal difference ruined. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing for me. There was a couple of the goals today. You know what? We'll go through them. We'll go through them because some of them just switched off today. I mean, we had so many players back, but no one engaging. I didn't understand it. I don't get how so many professional footballers can be standing in the box and not engage a runner. It just seems simple defending for me, but maybe it's because I watch other teams that actually do it, but it was poor today. Poor. Rebecca saying, must beat Palace and Forest. This game didn't mean too much to me, but it's frustrating to see how one person's error can throw away the hard work of the team. First 30 minutes Leeds with a better side. I mean, these are the kind of things that I always rally against when people say this game didn't mean anything. I mean, what does that mean to you? It didn't mean anything to you, Rebecca, but what about the players? You know, we always talk about games where we're not expected to win, and of course we're not expected to beat Arsenal today. You know, they're rolling for the title and everything else like that, of course. But you think about the player psyche, and we'll talk about Luke Ayling today because he has to be spoken about. That was an absolute disaster class out there today. But he's made basically made errors for 3 goals today. How does he take that psyche going into the next 2 games that you do deem important? Does he go into there confidently? Does he think, oh, I'm in great form here, let's go against Forest and Palace? I don't think so. That's why it's always important in these games, no matter how much, if you want to use the term free hit, I don't use that term, but you have to think of the players going forward as well. It's not just you as a fan or us as fans, it's about players too, and some of them will be a bit shaky come the next game, especially now with the home crowd at Ellen Road. It should be in our favor, but we know how it goes sometimes when the pressure's on. Listen, they're just going to have to do their best to park this one away. But in terms of the last bit, you're absolutely right, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Katrina saying we did play well, but Bill means well, but he's clearly cost us today. Bill will be good. I mean, that's all well and good, Katrina, but the nice guys of the club always seem to get these kind of passes. I did a preview for this game, and people were talking about Firpo yet again, even though he's been one of our better players. But I also mentioned Ayling versus Martinelli, because what did I say in the preview? I said Ayling is not a good 1v1 defender, not even halfway good a 1v1 defender. Like, I look at each game where Luke Ayling's going to play, and I look at the wingers and think, okay, against Wolves, Podence, Neto, okay, you can go against those two. They're not overly great. You can go against them. But then you look at games today like Martinelli, you think, it might be a long day. And it led to a goal. I mean, Martinelli didn't even have to dance that much around Ayling. He just went around him and put it across to Ben White. And in all fairness on that one too, Jack Harrison was asleep at the back post to allow Ben White to get in. But it all stems from Ayling not engaging with Martinelli properly. But they always seem to get these kind of comments, whereas if it was Firpo that was doing this, he wouldn't mean well. He'd be rubbish. He's not good enough and this or that. But Luke Ayling will always get this kind of, he means well stuff. It's so weird how people just defend the promotion boys. It's crazy. L. Gill saying Rutter was causing White problems. Yeah, Jorginho was good today in his little cameo that he made. This is what we want to see from him. He was essential to that goal for Christensen. Really good to see that, and I hope we see more of him. I hope that we see him possibly starting in the next game. You know, the onus is on us in the next 2 games now to get 3 points in both of them. For me, the 6 points is a must. We're going to go through some of the results today. Some of them have not gone in our favor, man. Some of them have not gone in our favor. David saying nice turn from her from commentary for a goal. Yeah, no, it was not just commentary. It was a good turn, really good turn by Rutter. That's the kind of product he can give us. He's not an out-and-out striker. He will be more of a link man, and that's what we need to see from him going forward. Ben saying Ayling still gets sentimental credit. Unfortunately, he does, and it's not. It doesn't really annoy me. I know it comes across that it really annoys me, but I just don't get why he gets so much of a pass. I know he got us promoted. He was essential in that. He was essential in us getting promoted, but we moved. We should have moved on by now. And it. I do wish that more people could be like me. I'm just gonna say, I wish that more people could separate the two. I know he's a great guy, super guy. He does a lot for the community. He does a lot around Leeds. I'm aware of all of that. I know all of the good he does, but I also can separate that he's not a Premier League defender. But a lot of people just can't separate the two. They see him do his stammer work, they see him do the charity work, and they think, "Oh, Bill, stay forever." I just can't think like that. And in a relegation battle, I say he's fine. Put him in. But if you want to move up the table, we need to do much better. And that's one area for me in the summer we have to address. But we'll talk about that then. Jed saying, good to see Rasmus on the score sheet again. Yeah, it's good. And hopefully, I think we'll be seeing. Let's talk about the way we set up today, by the way, because I don't know what feed you guys were watching, but I was watching a little bit of the USA network feed. And I think it's Robbie Musto. He thought that he was quite disrespectful to Javi Gracia, to be fair. He was trying to say that Javi was just putting this one to the side and concentrating on Forest and Palace. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It's quite obvious what we was looking to do, and the game plan in the first 30 minutes told you what we was going to do too. It was about springing a surprise on Arsenal. It was about keeping it compact and then breaking with the pace that we had with Sinistera, with Aronson, Somerville, Harrison. It was about that, wasn't it? It was about keeping it compact and springing. And what it reminded me of as well was, yeah, he was roasting him. I couldn't believe it, Nate. Nate, let me just put this one here. Is it? It's gone. It's gone. But it was like it reminded me, of, and I'm not comparing the two, by the way. I'm not comparing the two, but it reminded me of peak Spain. If you remember when they were winning European Championships, World Cups, they didn't play with a striker. They just load up the midfield and try and keep possession. Whereas we didn't play with a striker at the start, but more to hold Arsenal off, because he already mentioned Arsenal's possession game, which was always going to come through with the quality that they have on the ball. But then it was about us taking the chances on the counter. And that's all it reminded me of. But this guy here, Robbie Musto, he thought that we was trying to throw the game. I couldn't believe what I was hearing from a pundit, to be fair, but that's why I don't really listen to a lot of them, you know what I mean? um but yeah, I got the setup, I got what we was going for. I had no issues with it. And you saw, let's talk about it. Um we started well with that. We were keeping Arsenal out. The crowd was subdued. That's another thing as well. Up until they scored, the Arsenal crowd were pretty quiet, whether it was a mix of them expecting just to roll us over, which in the end they did, or was it a mix of Man City beating Liverpool earlier today? It could have been a mix of everything, title challenging, but it was very quiet, wasn't it, at the Emirates today up until they scored. And we did our jobs. And when you've got a tactical plan, that's why I always say about people not saying free hits, that the thing that bugs me the most is because when you've got a tactical plan like Javi did today, it can work, but it needs everybody to stay on the same page. And up until the penalty was conceded, we were on the same page today. But then once that happened, it was pretty much game over, as you saw. Robert saying thought Christensen did well today. I thought he was okay, but he did fall asleep on a couple of the goals as well. He was statuesque in some of the goals, but I think going forward in terms of a right back, I think he deserves a shot to go back in, and we'll talk about that on the Forest preview. But I think that he should be given a run at right back now, because there's just been too many defensive errors from Ayling. So let's talk about the penalty. How did you guys feel about the penalty today? Very interested to hear your thoughts, because I saw a lot of the social media, everyone saying it's a soft penalty and this and that, and we'll go through it. We'll go through it. Let me just get these super chats before they go. Thank you for the donations, by the way. It means a lot, helps the channel out, helps me out. Very, very grateful. And also Ian J on the last one, super chat, missed it. Thank you. And Neo28 for the super thanks on the video. Thank you. William saying every game means something. True. Ayling lives off memories of promotion. World class players stop pens. Hazard number one ever. I don't know. Has Millie ever saved a penalty? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Lee, thank you for the super chat saying not even upset today. Was never ever going to end well for us. More important games to come and points are needed. Going to be a tight end to the season. Michael Gott is saying, oh, sorry, yeah, Mark Hart really missed Willie, Verber, and Adams. Yeah, we did. Michael saying, why is Coops not starting and always on the bench? And that was another one as well for me. That was quite interesting. I'm interested in your thoughts on that because you saw we pretty much deployed a back five. We pretty much deployed a back five, and yet Strauch was in there, Christensen was in there, Cooper left on the bench until later. Think that does that tell a story now that it might be the captain's time over? For me, it kind of tells a story because we basically had a back five and he wasn't involved. Very yeah, very interesting for me. Very, very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the summer. Very, very interesting. Lewis F with a super chat. Cage, you've been studying Adam Shaw's heat map. Right. I don't get that one, but thank you for the donation anyway, man. Thank you. Commodore man, Ayling stupidly flicked his leg out Jesus knee for some crazy reason. Yeah. And this is the main point for me, Commodore man, and everyone else, because we know the game. The players know the game. We as fans know the game. When you go to places like the Emirates, when you go to Old Trafford, when you go to Stamford Bridge, wherever it may be, the bigger teams, you give the referee or VAR now a decision to make, it's going to go in their favor. But we all know that. So no one should be acting surprised about that. My thing is, don't give the referees a decision. Just like in boxing or UFC, don't let it go to the judges. Don't let them have the option to ruin your game plan. But we did that today because Ayling did it. Now, does that happen? Okay, let's just get it out of the way. If Aronson goes down under Gabriel's challenge and it's the same one, does it get given? Probably not. But again, we know the game. And unless you're going to write a letter to the FA, unless you're going to protest, that's going to happen. It's going to happen every time. So you know the rules already. Why did he do it? He already got sold. He already went to the shops. He was on the floor like a frail fish out of water. Why did he stick his leg up? There's still a chance that Jesus gets a shot off and puts it wide. Melia makes a save. Someone makes a block. The game was, we had it in our control. And then you leave it another 10 minutes. If it's still 0-0, it then makes Arsenal have to think, well, what do we need to do in the second half? But we took it away straight away. Ayling took it out of our hands, and it was 1-0. And like somebody said with Melier's saves from penalty ratio, I don't remember him ever saving a penalty. So you pretty much knew it was 1-0 there. Yeah, I mean, Jacob, how many times have we seen Ayling diving stupidly like that? So many times. There's also something else that happened on the fourth goal that I've mentioned a few times this season. I've mentioned it quite a few times this season. I'm sure you'll probably know if you're a regular viewer of the channel what it is. Yeah, and he dove in early too. It was just a horrible day for Luke Ayling today, an absolute disaster class. And usually he can offset it with some of his forward play, but he didn't. He couldn't do that today. So it was all defensive, and it was all bad, all bad. Michelle saying you're 100 on percent kg on the pen. Yeah, it's just my point of view, Michelle. That's how I always see. It always makes me laugh when people are shocked that these things happen. Like we don't know the scripts and how things go. It's always going to go in the big six's favor. So there was contact, but you gave the referee and you gave VAR an opportunity to break the deadlock, and you gave the opportunity for them to go ahead. It was always going to happen. Lee's saying, oh yeah, Darren, I'm going to star that one. He's saying, let's face it, Ayling can't defend ball watches daydreams. Yeah, and that's been the problem. And I'll say it again for new viewers. And if you're new, please hit the subscribe button. But we're at a bit of a bind at right back because Christensen hasn't made that spot his own. He hasn't. So it's been a case of Ayling having to come in. And even under Jesse Marsh, Ayling was playing because Christensen was just performing that badly. But at this point in time, it's time to change it up, and we'll see if Javi Gracia does that. But I think it's time to take Luke out the firing line because defensively, so many errors down his side. For me, it's no coincidence that a lot of the attacks seem to go down our right-hand side. It's not a coincidence. He's targeted because he's one of the worst defenders in the league. One on one, he's one of the worst defenders in the league. There's not many that get skinned as many times as Luke Ayling. Watch the rest of the Premier League people, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Michael Luke, our best right back, is at Luton on loan. He had a brilliant game today. I don't know if you saw him today. He was really, really good. Good to see him develop, and we'll have to see what happens with him in the summer. Have to see what happened with him in the summer. Darren just here saying, and this was a point I was going to make about the fourth goal. Furious at the last goal, Ayling was blaming Christensen. I don't know why he was blaming him. But again, that tells me something else. What if you're a captain of the team, you're the leader, you've got to have self-accountability. You've got to accept your responsibility. And he didn't there. He did. He was pointing at Christensen like Christensen could have done anything. And also on that goal, it's another thing that happens. It's that ball floated over. How many times have we seen Luke Ayling get done with a floated ball over his head or just around his head? It happens a lot, people. These aren't things that I'm just picking out the air and just for this game. Go back through the match reviews and talk, and you'll always get points of where I'm talking about these things happening to Luke Ayling. It's not a coincidence. He's okay going forward, and I mean okay, but defensively, he's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Robert T saying ball watching on the fourth. We watched Xhaka stroll in. He couldn't do nothing about it, could he? Couldn't do nothing about it. David saying, yes, we should be seriously thinking to bring back drama in the summer. And that's not even a cut and dry case, David. It's not, because Cody's been messed around by 2 coaches now. He's got a year left on his contract. So the ball is in his court, whether he stays this summer or not. And if he doesn't want to stay, that to me, that's fine, because it would be he's been messed around. And it's not like the 2 right backs this season have been spectacular where he's like, oh, I can understand why I'm being sent out on loan. They've both been very poor defensively. So he should have had a better run of the games just to prove if he's good enough or not. So we'll see if he's going to be here in come the summer. But either way, for me, we need a new right back at this club if we want to progress in this league. We're not going to get the job done with Luke Ayling, no matter how much of a nice guy he is. And I know he's a nice guy. It's just not going to work. Let's have a look. What's everyone saying? Yeah, I don't get that one. I don't get that one. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah. Yeah, German. Yeah, I know. Tired of saying the next 2 matches are must wins, but okay, me too, German. I'm with you there. But when you look at him, Nottingham Forest and Palace at home, man, if these aren't must wins, then we might as well give it up. We might as well give it up. Nate saying too many nice guys on this team in general. Way too many. Way too many, man. That's what the fans like, man. They like likable players. They don't like people. It's all that side before self stuff. No, how about some points? But anyway, listen. Let's carry on. Let's carry on with what's going on here. Um, yeah, we had a couple of opportunities, Somerville, and everything else like that. But and also as well, I did note it down, but I don't want to like pile on him. But he almost tripped himself over clearing the ball out, just before half time. I mean, come on, man, come on, boy, oh boy, boy, oh boy. Yeah, the second goal. The second goal. Let me just get the super chat before it goes. Mr. P, big supporter of the channel. Thank you, Mr. P. Pen would not have been given to Leeds. Clearances recycled, i.e., Cut kept the ball in play, which led to the pen. And Melia almost got chipped in again. Yeah, Melia almost did get he almost did get chipped again, but yeah, he didn't. Listen, the second goal though, again has to involve Ayling, chopped up by Martinelli, and it wasn't even. Martinelli didn't have to put too much effort into it. It wasn't like he had to go in and out, in and out. He just went in, out, and around him. And unfortunately, Ben White scores, and I know that one would have hurt a lot of people because, like a lot of the promotion guys, there's still a lot of love for Ben White at Leeds United. But hey, Ben White doesn't. He's already said he doesn't watch football, so he was off celebrating. I don't know how people feel about that because I know some people don't like when former players score against their former teams, but I got no problem with it. We know what Ben White's about. And it's unfortunate that happened in terms of Harrison, because I thought Harrison was doing well defensively up until that point. But even Harrison knew that he let Ben White go to get that second goal. Just a poor goal all around, man. Just so poor, So poor, man. Um, Yeah, Kea here. Yeah, second goal absolutely killed us. Timing of perfect. Time of it was perfect for them. Absolutely, absolutely. Just after half time, game over for me. I didn't see us getting back into it at that point. It was just then about keeping the score down, try and keep as compact as possible, and not let the goal difference run away from us. And we've tacked on a -3 today, unfortunately. But yeah, for me as well, I'm with you, Kea. At 2-0, it was done. It was absolutely done. Darren here saying Ayling did nothing to stop the cross coming in so easy for Martinelli. So easy. He didn't even have to. He didn't lose much of a breath today. Martinelli, light work for him today. That was one of the easiest games he'll have. One of the easiest games he'll have. Um, And yeah, more love for Rutter today. Actually looked good. Actually looked decent. Had a role in the build up for the goal. Yeah, just gotta give him a chance, people. It's like I said from at the start when some people were absolutely ripping at him for not having 10 goals in 3 substitute appearances. That just give him time. Give him time. Give him opportunities and let him see what he does. And that was a nice cameo today. In light of a poor result today, that was a nice cameo from Jorginho today. 3-0. Oh man. This is the one that got me though, people. This was a collective effort of just nothingness from the defense. Now we've got all these players back in the box, just zonal marking quite clearly. Jesus plays in Trossard, and Trossard goes around Robin Koch quite easily as well. Gotta say it. Robin Koch looked like he missed his buddy Verba today. Let me know your thoughts on that, people. But then Jesus just runs in. I mean, as free as you like. And there's bodies in that 6-yard box, and not one of them engages with him. No one pinches at him. No one anticipates the movement. Not nothing. Just just leave him to go free. And it's 3-0. Jesus. By the way, these are Jesus' first goal since October. And that's due to a mix of injuries and just him coming back recently. But hey, he is Leeds United, and we are the gift that gives. You need goals. There you go, break your duck. Um, yeah, I mean, give me your thoughts on the third goal as well, people. I just it was embarrassing to watch, quite frankly, for me, just to see so many bodies back there and not one person engage with Jesus. El Gil saying that lineup set us up to fail. I don't think it did, El Gil. That this is my own personal opinion. Obviously, people in the comments let me know what you think of that. But I thought that he set us up to do exactly what was happening in the first 30 minutes, where we were soaking up the pressure, we was, keeping it compact. Harrison was on Odegaard as well. He wouldn't let Odegaard out of his sight. It was working up until the penalties conceded. And once the goals conceded, obviously then you do need to readjust, because now you need to get a forward on the pitch in order to try and get a goal. You do have to change once the goal goes in. But I thought up until that point we was doing all right. I certainly didn't think he was trying to throw the game like Robbie Musto thought we were trying. uh, Dave White, I blame Rizdale. Yeah, I had to put on this background today. I had to just to give myself some nice memories of when we was a little bit of a juggernaut, just when we was a real good team. You know what I mean? Just make me feel better. Just to make me feel better. Uh, Darren saying the lineup was good until Ayling ruined the game plan. David saying yes, if we're going to get anything from that game, the game plan was spot on. Um, Matt here saying if Jesse had played that lineup and lost 4-1, people would be trying to burn his house down. The thing is with that, Matthew, that whole what about everything is usually pretty good, but Jesse would never have played that kind of lineup. He just wouldn't have. Not once did he ever deviate from what he was doing. It was always just plan A. Whereas with Javi Gracia, we are getting all kinds of different tactical plans. We're getting all different styles. We're getting different plans for each game. We didn't get that under Jesse. So as much as I agree with that, if Jesse had to play that lineup, he would have got crucified. I do agree in certain sense, but we'd never have seen that under Jesse. No chance. He wouldn't have. Um, yeah, everyone thinking, Yeah, it was working up until Ayling. That seems to be the general consensus. I won't put too many up there. He's already going to get much of a lashing in this one already. It's already mad. Um, yeah, our goal. Our goal. We talk about it there, Rutter, in terms of his impact on that one. Jack Harrison was involved in the build-up too. The ball getting deflected out and Rasmus hitting it. Nice to see Rasmus on the score sheet again. But what I will say is that it looked like to me, I'd be disappointed if I was Ramsdale because it looked like he glitched. It looked like he glitched when that shot was because it didn't look like the hardest shot in the world. Looks like he could have got it, but we know Ramsdale does love a camera save. But yeah, good for Rasmus getting another goal, getting on the score sheet again, building his confidence up, and he needs to take that now for me at the right back spot. That's just my opinion, but we'll talk about that. And yeah, of course, Ian, if you don't shoot, you don't score. And that's a further proof, isn't it? Just like Bamford's the other week, you shoot, you get that deflection, it goes in. And that's what we've done today in terms of testing out Ramsdale, who lost his clean sheet for very little, in my opinion, because he should have saved it. But you know what? We'll take it. We'll take the goal. NG say it took a huge deflection. Nabino saying Harrison actually put in a few decent crosses today. He did. He did. And Segundo is saying tactics were good. We were undone by the penalty. Can't disagree. And just to put more on this, because there will be people saying, yeah, but it wouldn't have worked. But I'm not saying that these tactics would have worked for, say, 60, 70 minutes. But the way Javi Gracia is, I would think that he would have a plan by the 60th minute if we're still in at 0-0 or still in the game to then do the next phase, which would have probably been to put Rodrigo on, Rutter on, to try then to see if Arsenal come at us a bit more and then it opens up more space. I'm not saying that this tactic would have worked for 90 minutes, not even close, but I think Javi Gracia would have had the plan to do so. And you know what? He's earned that with the points that he's gotten so far. He's earned that with the different plans that he's put forward for Leeds United so far. Scott Lightning saying, if Gracia has realized already that Cooper isn't the answer, then I'm pretty sure he will soon realize Ayling isn't either. Let's hope it's not too late. Yeah, I'm hoping so too. I'm hoping that it's not a case of him carrying the captain's armband at this point in time and having to play. I really hope it's not that, because nothing in Luke Ayling's performances for quite a while now has said that he should be starting games. He's got the given right to start. And I think Rasmus has done slightly better. I think Rasmus has improved. It's just hard, isn't it, when you're picking out the two? There's so many holes with both of them. But at this point in time, for Ayling's confidence and just get him out of the limelight for a bit, play Rasmus at right back. And yeah, marching on, it's bad because you pick Ayling. The main point of that though, Ayling has not really fared well versus Arsenal, has he? Sent off needlessly last year against Martinelli. What is that? Conceding penalty. The game today. Yeah, let's just. You know what? Let's not play him again against Arsenal. Let's see what happens next season now. Eh? Michael saying having Ayling in your side torches any tactics you want to set up. Gravy working with some crap personnel. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't clear before, then it was real clear today that the summertime comes, have to invest in this defense. You have to. Like it's not even up for debate for me. I've already said that the forward line as it is, I'd be okay with. But for me, we have to invest in better fullbacks overall. Especially on the right. The right hand side for me is our weakest point at this point in time. We have to invest in them and another centre back, because you saw today, for me, I saw Robin Koch revert back to kind of old Robin. I thought he was okay, but he didn't look as assured as he did that with Verba next to him, or Vuba. Keep saying that wrong, but Vuba next to him, he didn't look the same. Okay. So, Ben Uri saying Firpo hasn't had a mention. He was decent. Yeah, he was okay. I think it was nice to see Saka start on the bench. I think that's something that was really good to see. By the way, I know he came on after the hour, but yeah, Firpo wasn't by anywhere near bad. He wasn't bad. Decent. I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I don't think he was outstanding by any stretch of the imagination. You can't be when you've conceded 4, but yeah, I thought he was decent too. Yeah, Shelley is saying, I thought Pascal was invisible today. Yeah, he didn't help out. This is it as well for me, and it hurts me to say this, Shelley. You know, you're a long time subscriber of mine. I love Pascal Strout, but he's not giving me anything to say that he should be coming back in. For me, it's as soon as Verber's hamstring is mended, come back in, mate. Please, we need you. We need you. Baz here saying Ayling so bad defensively, opposing teams target him. Yep. Brighton game, they just kept dropping it over Luke's head. Yep. Yep. Thank you, Baz. Gibbs White or Johnson running at Ayling gives me nightmares. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. And Baz is doing what I'm doing there in terms of measuring up who we got next. Gibbs White will have Ayling on toast. Gibbs White is a good player, very, very good player. Um, and yeah, it just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good for me. That's why he has to come out. But we'll see what happens. Quick turnaround, by the way. It's like an old championship, isn't it? We got a game on Tuesday, isn't it? We got them on Tuesday. So yeah, quick turnaround so we can try and forget this one and move on. Liam is saying, thank you, Liam, as well for the super chat. Thank you. As soon as Ayling gave away the pen, I went on FIFA. I know it was over, man. Damn. Yeah. I know what you're saying. I think at 1-0, I still had a bit of a sliver of hope that if we got an equalizer, then it'll make the game interesting. But once it was 2-0, I'm with you. I thought as soon as it hit 2-0, it's about keeping the score down. Uh, Jacob saying here, Christensen has been better recently and Javi clearly likes him. He may actually swap Ayling out. I hope so, Jacob. I hope so. Yeah, Nate, he is the danger man. But we'll talk about the Forest one in the Forest preview. Let me just get the some of the other results up today because it's been a heck of a day today. It's been a heck of a day. Let's have a look. Um, Bournemouth, Bournemouth, those pesky Bournemouth people pulling out a 2-1 victory against Fulham. Solanke scoring the winner, unbelievable. Palace beat Leicester, which is pretty good for us because I think we were at the time when it was 1-1, I think we were closest to the bottom three, but with Leicester losing, they're there now. And Forest and Wolves, they played out a 1-1 draw, which is great. That's a great result for us today. So now we drop down to 16th people on 26 points. Everton are playing Spurs at home, and you know you can't rely on Tottenham for anything. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. But at this point in time, Southampton are bottom, West Ham second from bottom, Leicester third from bottom, so tight. That's why these two games coming up are absolutely massive. They're just so massive. What? Let's have a look. What? Any other notes from the game today? Yeah, great to see Sinistera start. McKenny, yeah, McKenny as well. Just want to say as well because obviously I would have started McKenny, but I think he was just getting over flu, wasn't he? And you saw he came on as a substitute, so maybe he wasn't ready to start. So again, understood that decision. And yeah, everything else we've covered. We have covered those things. So okay, what's everyone else saying? Let's have a look. Yeah, Scott, if we beat Forest, we could go 12th. It's for me, you know what? I don't even need to say these on the previews because it's quite clear. I do not want to see points dropped in either game. I think with both of them that we should be looking at 6 points out of the two games. I really do. If we've got any real hope of staying up and staying clear and not getting involved in this bottom three battle come near the end of the season, which I want. I don't know who finds this kind of stuff fun. I certainly don't. The only people that find it fun are fans of teams that aren't involved in this thing. I just don't enjoy this kind of stuff. So for me, 6 points in the next two games, which is achievable. I expect to see players like Rodrigo back starting, McKennie starting if he's fully over his virus. I expect to see our full strength team, and 6 points is a must. We have to. Uh, Jack is saying, I don't know why people have got Bournemouth nailed on to get relegated. I think they're one of the better sides in the mini league. I don't. I don't think that they're one of the better sides at all. When I look at their team overall, I don't look at their team and go, wow, I can see why they're staying up. They've got threats in there, of course. Ouattara from Lorient, good team. And of course, Philip Billing, who I think is a decent player. But I can see why people put them in the bottom three, but they're pulling out results, Jack. And you can't substitute anything for that, especially in the battle that we're in. it's all about points, and they're pulling some of these results out of their hats right now, shall we say. Fan is saying, someone here saying, "Am I the only one that's weary of waiting of other results?" I've got to be honest. I usually hate this stuff. I usually don't. I don't like looking at other people's results, but you can't help it, can you? You looked at the fixtures that are coming this weekend and one tomorrow, and you're just looking at them going, "I hope everyone just draws. I hope everyone draws. We keep our goal difference down and move into the next two games." I'm with you. It's tiring. It's so tiring doing this relegation stuff. And that's why it's important we again get recruitment right in the summer and improve this team, improve this team so we're not in this position. Michael is going with Robbie Musto here, saying, "Have you consolidated today, looking ahead to Forest and Palace?" Um, yeah, yeah, Darren, have to give Bournemouth credit. They're no good, but they push to the limit to get results. 100%. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Andy's asking here, Rodrigo, Bamford, or both against Forest. I wouldn't mind seeing two up top, Andy, but for me, I would probably put Rodrigo up top and Rutter behind. I'd put Rutter behind and then Rodrigo up top. For me, we need people that can finish, and Bamford isn't that guy. So for me, I'd put people that are a bit more threatening and can give us all that kind of stuff that Bamford does give you. And I think we could get that between the two of them. But yeah, I'm with you. I would love to see two up top, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. Uh, oh no, Wayne! I'm sadistic, loving this 18 relegation battle. Oh God, you're better than me, Wayne. I can't stand it. It's no fun. It's no fun doing this. I don't know whether it's because I got to do this as well as like broadcasting and stuff like that, or YouTubing. But God, it is no fun when you're getting beat. And listen, I think the thing that we've kind of glossed over a little is that we've lost 4-1 overall. Ayling has been getting a shoe in today, and he rightly should. He rightly should, as one of the senior players, a leader, and a much loved member of the team. He should get a shoe in today. But yeah, we've lost 4-1, and for me, this kind of stuff isn't fun. I would love to be. You see this background I've got. If we were getting results like we were getting back then, quite firstly, I'd be insufferable because my chest would be out and high and mighty, Leeds United, we're going to win this and that. But doing this meat thing where we have to be careful because I don't know if we can beat Forest, I don't know if we can beat Palace. Oh, it's no fun for me. But no, shout out to you if you enjoy this, Wayne, and anyone else that does. You're better than me. Arson is saying, at least Zaha pulled up injured for Palace today. Did he? I didn't see that. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, that would be a blow for them if he's out for their games. Ben saying here, we are lucky to have so many other teams in the mix. It's absolutely insane what's going on down here. Absolutely insane. The bottom three just keeps changing. I mean, apart from Southampton, but the bottom three just keeps changing, and you just don't know who is more in trouble than the other team. There's just so many. Any team in the bottom, you can say has got weaknesses, and say that's the reason why. People always think that Everton are going to stay up, but if we had Everton strike force now, we probably wouldn't be as confident saying that we're going to stay up because they don't get goals. All their goals at this point in time are going to be free kicks and off Tarkovsky's knee or whatever it is. You know what I mean? There's so many holes in all the teams. Lack of confidence at West Ham, non-belief in David Moyes, whatever that is. Leicester as well. There's no there's no such thing as too good to go down, and we know that more than anybody. Andy here. How can any Leeds fan enjoy this season? Almost killed me off last season. I'm with you, Andy. You like I don't know if you was with me last season, Andy, but you saw the condition I was in, especially in that February where we was getting our cheeks open weekly, and it seems like we're conceding goals every 10 minutes, but it's not fun. Like the euphoria of the Brentford one, by the way, I thought that was going to be more relief than anything. But I was in the euphoria. I thought we won something the way that I was celebrating after we beat Brentford and stayed up. But I don't want to do that every year. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. Oh God. Ben Uri saying Moyes is going to go. We'll see. We'll see. Mm. Yeah, Alison, I'm with you. Can't be doing with that stress again. Yeah, let me just see if Javi has come out with any comments here. While I'm doing that, please hit a like on the video. Best way to support the channel, free, and it's free. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and of course, drop your comments after the video's done. Okay, let's have a look. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, yeah, Javi Garcia. Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy with the attitude of my players. We don't have time to complain, and the best thing is that we can do is prepare as well as possible for the next game. That was smooth, wasn't it? On the penalty, it can be a penalty because there is contact, but I don't know if it's enough. And that's the other thing as well for me. Whether it's a soft penalty or a hard penalty, it's still a penalty. But again, that's just the way that my brain thinks. Um, I think we started well, created some good chances, and not conceded many. They scored one from a penalty, but we were in the game and competing well. The game changed in the second half, conceding the early goal. See, Javi, I mean, he's pretty much said everything I've said, man. Good on you, Javi. Yeah, but he knows the game. See, this is what I mean. This is what you get with a tactician of a coach, which is what he is. He sees it for what it is. He also adds, we try to be compact, try to defend in the middle. Playing against Arsenal, sometimes you can't decide where you want to defend. You have to run a lot of distance. So I decided to go with these players, which again is another reason why I could understand how he was setting up the team from the start, from that starting lineup. Arsenal scoring 3 or 4 goals, it's something they usually do. In the first half, we did well, but goals change games. And in this case, it was difficult to manage the second half. So yeah, Javi, he knows what he was trying to do here. And it's pretty much what I said at the start of the video. It's just unfortunate that individual errors there have cost us. Very, very, very unfortunate. Ben Erie here saying, if we stay up after these 2 stressful seasons, we deserve a mid-table performance so we can enjoy some football without the anxiety. Ben, I was hoping for that this season. If you go back to the start of the season predictions, I didn't think we'd finish high, but I thought that we'd have more than what we've currently got right now, and that we could just have a mediocre season where we win a couple, maybe lose a couple, draw one, then lose another two, but then win two. In that kind of pattern. But boy, I was asking for too much. But yeah, I completely hear you. Mid-table, or even better, depending on who's in charge of us in the summer. Who knows? Lee saying we have to make our own luck. 100% drop Ayling, please. Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about the Forest preview maybe tomorrow or Monday. I'll see how it is. Just obviously hit the notification bell, and you'll know where I'm going when I'm going live, and we can talk about the Forest game then. Karen here. I'm not enjoying this relegation battle at all. Didn't expect us to be here again. Yeah. Michelle is saying, thanks a lot, Cage. You really enjoy listening to the content you bring. Thank you so much. And thank you for anyone that's joined in and watches. Honestly, it means a lot when people do interact and watch however you interact. It means a lot, honestly, because you could be doing anything else, but you're here with me talking about Leeds United. So thank you guys as well. Secundo saying, to be fair, we could finish as high as 11th and it wouldn't be mad. I don't think so. I think Villa have pretty much got 11th sewn up. I think if you look at the points difference, Villa have got a pretty sizable gap between them and 12th. So, but yeah, 12th isn't out the question. And that's the craziest thing about the season, isn't it? 12th really isn't out the question, but let's see how we got on in the next 2 games. Well, listen, people, I'm going to end it there. We've spoken enough about this game. Give me your thoughts and feelings in the comments below, and everything else like that. Smash a like, subscribe, and we're going to roll back into it, whether it's tomorrow or Monday, and we'll preview the Forest game together, see how we're feeling. Put this one away, see how we're feeling. Do we feel we're going to beat Forest? We'll come back to it. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday if you can. Peace out. Love.